This week on the show, we're talking Transformers and other rapings of our childhood.
Transmorphers.
Welcome to the Grizzled Geek. I'm Mike.
Oh. Try that again.
Doug wasn't ready for that one. All right.
I was still laughing for that.
Welcome to the Grizzled Geek. I'm Mike.
And I'm Doug.
And this is our podcast. Today we're talking Transformers that just came out and other live-action reimaginings of our childhood.
Yeah, 1980s
cartoons. Yeah.
Mostly.
Stuff that we grew up on. Yeah. But before we jump into that, just a quick little bit going in. I want to remind everybody that that's listening in or want to listen into us and not look at our faces. Our podcasts are available on Stitcher, iTunes, and...
That's it. That's Stitcher and iTunes.
Stitcher and iTunes. All right. Hell with those guys. The rest of them, Stitcher and iTunes, because we're too lazy to put it up anywhere else. Yeah. But yes, you guys watch us on YouTube. That's great. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe if you like it. But those of you who are not or don't want to look at our faces anymore, you can get the podcast audio only.
Yeah.
But now getting on over to Transformers. Now. I know you not see this movie because you refuse to support Michael Bay.
Well, I won't support Michael Bay.
And what he's done to our beloved franchise. Let's talk about that right off the bat here. Transformers.
This is what, 5? Number 5?
Yeah, number 5.
Yeah. I've only seen 2.5 of them. Yeah.
They were just... third one?
Yeah. No. I've only seen bits and pieces of the third one on TV, at random times.
The third one was the one that wasn't bad, though.
Yeah, this, and here's the thing: is they're not. Wait, which one was the one that introduced Wahlberg?
That was the last one, the fourth
one. Actually, I watched that one.
Okay.
Which the funny thing is. I liked Wahlberg's part in it.
Yeah,
I like him. I missed all the commando guys.
Well, Josh Jamal's in the latest one.
Yes. Yeah. I was glad that part brought him back. I like Wahlberg in most things he does. So, but the Transformers themselves suck. I don't know. I don't like what they've done. I hated what they did with the Megatron / Galvatron, build, Lego Transformer, whatever.
Yeah. Well, they did try to go back to the well with this one. Megatron's in this one, and Frank Welker is actually voicing him now, as he should have from the very beginning.
Yeah.
The original voice of Megatron, although he's in a blink and you miss him in this one. So
yeah,
much like Optimus Prime. So everybody out there saw the trailers where Optimus Prime
being a bad guy
and all this. Apparently that's just a small beat in the movie and hardly in the movie at all. So, more of the same, I guess. If you like the old Michael Bay Transformers, all the other ones, you're not going to get more of the same, more explosions, more confused plot, and a MacGuffin that they have to search for.
More impossible scenes where humans somehow survive things that should have killed them.
Okay, you haven't seen them all. I was going to ask you if I could have sworn that Cybertron coming to Earth happened in one of the other movies. I thought that was a plot point of going to convert the Earth to the new Cybertron or something like that. I thought that was a plot point in one of the other movies.
Not any of the ones I've seen, but maybe it was the Dark Side of the Moon.
Or it was Unicron or whatever, but it was basically the same stuff happening. All right, let's break it down. Transformers was one of my favorite cartoons in the 80s. Right?
Probably my third favorite.
Yeah.
Behind Robotech and G.I. Joe, it was up there with one of my favorites.
And as one of our favorites, I think I had Voltron and He-Man up there.
Yeah. Right
around Transformers, one of those three. But, we're super excited. The 84 movie is still the best movie that they've done.
Yeah.
By far. It had the heart, everything. Spoilers, they kill off Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
It was a heart, gut-wrenching scene for a kid.
Yeah.
But we all were excited when we found out it was going to be live action. to see that live action. When we found out Peter Cullen is doing a voice of Optimus Prime,
right? Yeah,
no one else can do that. Unless they dig up John Wayne, there's no one else can do that. Do that voice. So we were all super excited. And the first movie that came out, it wasn't bad. Right? It wasn't like it was. I mean, obviously, it's the best one in the series.
Yeah, it was okay.
It was okay. It was enough that you're like, okay, got a little taste. My biggest complaint about that movie is that Optimus Prime got his ass kicked in it. Pretty much.
Right? Yeah.
Like, I mean, he's like this badass, but until at the very end, he's just getting whipped. Which doesn't seem like Optimus Prime, but
yeah.
But it wasn't that bad. I didn't mind Shia LaBeouf at the time. Hadn't gone full Shia LaBeouf yet.
No, yeah. I mean, he brought this. He was good. His humorous take on Sam was. I liked it.
Yeah, I liked him. And then the second movie just went off the rails. Second movie with the stereotypical racist robots, the crazy humor like the balls on the on Devastator.
Oh,
I mean, just like various things the story was just all over the place. Third movie started coming around a little bit better. I actually liked it. It wasn't that bad. And again, Optimus Prime still needed help at the end from Megatron at the.
Oh, right, yeah. But didn't that have the quintessential Michael Bay does not understand these movies when he friggin' had Optimus straight murder Megatron in cold blood?
Yeah.
Like, hey, thanks for your help.
Luckily,
Boom.
Luckily, it didn't stick.
Yeah,
but I mean, third one's kind of a blur. I barely remember a little bit. Fourth one, I was just kind of like at that point. I was like, I don't care. Mark Wahlberg. I know I've seen it. I couldn't tell you what happened in that movie. I mean, I know they were up in some kind of, I don't know, flying something on cables, and it was like robot dogs and stuff.
It was like some sort of bounty hunter was hunting for them or something.
Yeah, they had like the liquid transformers and stuff.
Yeah, that was. But it had Stanley Tucci.
Okay,
and he was funny. He was good.
I guess. I don't know. It was.
Yeah. No, I will not say it was a good movie at all.
Yeah.
It had some good elements to it, but overall, it was kind of a crappy. It was kind of a crappy movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, And then we have
pretty much all
rolling around to the first night. Again, more of the same. More, Tell you what. Despite all this, I'm looking forward to the Bumblebee movie. One, because it's set in the 80s. Because Michael Bay does not have his hand on this one, and different direction. They're going back. The story is about the Autobot, not So hopefully, and they better make him a bug. If you set him in the 80s, he needs to be his original form.
Yeah, we'll see.
The yellow bug.
Yeah, that would be good, but
yeah.
I don't know whether we'll get that or not.
But there, Transformers. So Transformers, obviously, that was one misstep from our childhood. But we started going off. We're discussing the other favorites.
Yeah, let's do a good one. Let's talk about G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe?
Yeah, let's talk about G.I. Joe.
Is that a good one?
I liked him. Now the first one had some hiccups.
Yeah,
it wasn't quite as good as the second one, but it had some good elements to it.
If they had the Cobra Commander from the second one in the first one, it would have been a much better movie. And they could ditch the stupid Iron Man power armor.
Oh, right, the running around, jumping. Yeah, that was a little silly. The acceleration suits or whatever they call them.
The Iron Man suits.
Yeah.
Other than that, they got the characters. I mean, the characters looked right. Snake Eyes was awesome.
Yeah.
And
in when they went to the second movie and they had the whole ninja team, had story. I mean, they followed a lot of the beats of the comics very well. I like that.
Yeah, I tell you what, the first movie was okay. I didn't like a lot of things they did with it. Second movie was much better, but again, they already wasted. They killed off all the G.I. Joes, right? They didn't have Duke anymore, right?
Yeah, that's true.
They wasted Destro and the Baroness in the first movie, right?
Yeah.
And then in the second movie, we finally got the Cobra Commander that they should have had in the first movie, right? So they got the bad guy right, but then they don't have Destro or Baroness anymore, or any of the other than The Rock.
Yeah.
My problem is I like The Rock. right? I think he elevates movies that he's in.
Right.
But the problem is that he's at that stage now where if The Rock's involved, he's got to be the star, right? The center of it. And that's around the time that started is when that second G.I. Joe came out, right?
Okay,
so it needed more about him. So all of a sudden, I mean, take The Rock out of that. Do you see a G.I. Joe movie centered around Roadblock?
No.
Okay, there you go. No. That's what there's my point right there.
Yeah.
If it wasn't The Rock involved, Roadblock doesn't, anchor a movie, a G.I. Joe movie.
Yeah.
So other than that, but I will say this: they got more right. Like the vehicles looked right.
Yeah.
They didn't need to throw in Bruce Willis. And you could tell that it didn't have the budget the first one did. I guess it's kind of good because they didn't throw in any extraneous shit like the suits.
Yeah.
But it's I will agree. As far as adaptations of childhood cartoons go, G.I. Joe is towards the top.
Yeah, it has been pretty good.
Not bad.
Well, and there's some of the ones we're going to talk about. There have been multiple iterations. And some have been good, and some have not.
Right.
So.
Now, and later on we'll talk about ones that are coming out.
Yeah.
In the future ones. But all right, let's look at another one Michael Bay had his hand in, not directing but producing, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Now, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles had a series of 3 movies back late 80s.
No, it was in the 90s.
90s.
Yeah, I think they were all in the 90s.
All 90s? The first one was in the 80s? 80?
Maybe, I don't know. We'll have to...
It was close. It's all a blur anyway. It's college years kind of.
Yeah.
but those were good movies, right?
They were.
I want to tell you, they were men in rubber suits, right? Yeah. Clearly men in rubber suits,
right?
But they were good. I mean, we were used to that. Jim Henson trained us well.
Yes.
We had no problem with men in rubber suits.
Yeah, we didn't need. You don't need like uber CGI to tell a good story,
right? The April O'Neil was good in those.
Casey Jones.
Elias Koteas was
perfectly
cast as Casey Jones. He was awesome. So there's a highlight right there. The first Ninja Turtles. Now, Ninja Turtle reboot comes around.
Yeah.
First one, I was like, first I heard Michael Bay was doing it, and I was like, oh my god, they were going to make them aliens at first, and they scaled that back.
Yeah, that's good.
The mutants are in the name.
Yes.
So the first one wasn't as bad as I expected. I was like, oh, it's actually not bad. They got the important part, which was the turtles, right?
Uh-huh.
The personalities of the turtles. They got the heart of who those characters were. And they were
in keeping with the cartoon.
In keeping with the cartoon, right. They went with the cartoon, which is fine, right? And it wasn't bad. And then we're like, okay, it wasn't bad as long as they did this. If they just did... certain things. We had a list of things. We want Casey Jones, right? We want Maury Brony. We want Shredder to be Shredder, right? And him to be the main bad guy. We want, if you're going to go with the cartoons, you need to stick with, the cartoon lore and stuff like that. And they did everything we wanted them to do in the second movie, and it sucked worse. I was like, they gave us Casey Jones, and they gave us Stephen Amell as Casey Jones.
I like him. I like him as an actor.
And he sucked as Casey Jones.
Yeah.
And
he was Arrow. Casey Jones.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, he was only in it he was like a cop. Casey Jones is a cop. Casey Jones is a vigilante.
Right. So you screwed up.
He had the mask on for a few minutes in the one fight scene. Then they brought in Kang. And they brought in Bebop and Rocksteady. They had the turtle van from the toys that shot hubcaps out the front like the toy did. So, not hubcaps, the manhole covers. Shot manhole covers off. You're like, how could they go wrong? And it was just a mess. And it turned into it had the ending of every Transformers movie with a bunch of crap flying around, a bad guy up on top of a building. It was like a lot of Marvel movies too, but not nearly the quality. So, hit or miss, right? The first one, it was the first time you're like, well, if they just did these things, it would be a better movie. Well, they did those things, and it was not.
And it was not a better movie.
Apparently, you need a good story, too. So,
and that's a common theme through a lot of these is that they often ignore the source material and go off on their own tangent and then make a horrible story that also betrays the characters.
Yes.
So when you do
if
those,
you're going to add Casey Jones, add Casey Jones. Don't just throw a guy in there with a hockey mask. Call him Casey Jones, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's not servicing the fans. That's that's just like, oh, yeah, here, give them the Casey Jones they want.
Yeah.
But that's anyway, so thumbs up for the first Ninja Turtles. That's on the positive list. Reboot Ninja Turtles, mixed bag. You know, second one kind of killed it for me. All right, but then going back, I was thinking back. My first, I think the first one I can remember, live action adaptation of one of my favorite cartoons was Masters of the Universe.
Dolph Lundgren.
Dolph Lundgren, Masters of the Universe. Which we're going to revisit on a Does It Hold Up video we're going to do. But, that was my first, I was so excited about it. I'm like, oh, it's live action He-Man. How can it go wrong? I love Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah.
This is going to be awesome. This is going to be amazing. And then little bit by little bit, we heard they're changing stuff. Like, it's not going to have Orko. They're going to have Gwildor or somebody else. Who the fuck is that, right?
Yeah.
It's not going to have, it's got Evil Lyn, Skeletor, Beastman, but then they're going to add, like, two other, like, Karg and Blade, the two guys I had no idea about,
Right, yeah.
They made up for the show.
Makeup cards.
And it's going to take place on Earth. I'm like, what the hell? Earth? Why is...
Yeah, well, yeah.
So...
Probably, I mean...
Here's the thing. I love the movie. Right when it came out, I was like, despite all this, I love the movie. We had and Tom Paris in it was in it, and Courtney Cox were the humans.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, like I think I haven't seen it in forever. That's why we're going to watch it again for Does It Hold Up?
Right. Yeah.
But in my mind, I was a kid at the time, and it was my favorite cartoon, so I loved it. I mean, what are your memories of Master Universe?
It's all right. It's one of those that is in the height of B movie goodness.
Yeah.
So you kind of had to take it for that.
Right. I was used to the Incredible Hulk TV movies, so I was like, that was the kind of quality I was looking for. I'm like, all right,
this is not like a Batman movie, it was not any kind of high budget. The reason it's set on Earth is because they didn't have the budget or the ability to make a separate world, so they had to bring them to Earth so they could use regular sets.
Eternity consisted of Vasquez Rock out in the California desert. Like, Kirk just fought a Gorn on the other side of that thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, not a high production, but it was. Right. I enjoyed it. I liked it for what it was. We'll watch it again soon and see if it holds up.
Yeah, but, I mean, it's if you were, because we come from the generation where we grew up watching Flash Gordon. And these old movies that were still kind of being recycled. These old B sci-fi movies and stuff, fantasy movies, Beastmaster and stuff like that. So it fell into that kind of rung, and in that sense, our generation looked at B movies as hey, these are awesome.
Yeah,
these are
things.
I mean, being a B movie wasn't bad.
The first end credit scene, and I didn't even know it had an end credit scene for like 20 years. But it's Skeletor popping up out of the water.
Oh right,
saying I'll be back. They were already planning for a sequel.
Which never happened.
Never happened.
But hey.
Yeah, that's He-Man. All right. So, Master Universe.
It was all right.
We'll see when we watch it again. But for right now, it's in the positives there.
And it's all contextual. So there are probably a lot in already, a lot of people watching this who are going, I love the Transformers movies, or I love but different generations, different attachment to the source material that kind of changes your opinions, your views on those kind of things.
Right
So
all right, we're going to talk Power Rangers for a moment, because even though that was past our generation, it's kind of weird. Power Rangers for me, it was post my time to watch that kind of stuff, and it was before my kids' time watching that stuff. So in my house, we kind of missed the whole Power Rangers thing. Right.
And I refused to watch it because it was a ripoff of.
But that's the reason why we're talking about it, because it's not. It's obviously directly inspired by Voltron.
Yes.
With all the different
animals that form together into a robot. Yeah.
All right. So. I did watch some of the Power Rangers. I watched the Ivan Ooze movie from Power Rangers, right? But that was just based directly on the kids show.
Oh, right. Okay.
So they rebooted it with the latest one and basically made them like superheroes, right? They're all super strong and vulnerable.
Even outside of their armor or costumes, they're super strong and vulnerable. They can jump.
They kind of give them an upgrade there,
Yeah.
But all right, and they made the the Zords look better, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I could briefly touch on this because, like I said, I, other than watching here and there a little bit, maybe like reruns, my kids watch reruns maybe.
Yeah.
They weren't very into it, but I watched it and was kind of got upset. I'm like, what is this? Why is this not... Why is this not Voltron?
Yeah, how did you get away with stealing Voltron?
But apparently they're going to be doing a Voltron movie, so we'll see how that goes. They did reboot Voltron in a new cartoon.
That was horrible.
I didn't. I know we have some friends that liked it.
I mean, it looks good. They just ruined the character, in my opinion.
My biggest problem with it, and at first I didn't like the anime way they went about it. They gave the Princess elf ears and stuff like that. They did like little chibi faces when they, stuff they didn't do in the original. Even though it's based on anime, it's anime stuff, but they didn't do that kind of thing. I got over that as I started watching the story. I finished the first season. I kind of stopped halfway through because I got upset with it. Finished it out.
Oh, you gave it more time than I
did because the story was compelling. But at the end of the season, I had to reflect back, and my biggest problem, I think it was your biggest problem, is that they changed the characters.
Yeah, they're not who they were.
They're not. They swap personalities because in the beginning, in the cartoon, original '80s cartoons. Keith was the leader. He flew the Black Lion, right? Mm-hmm. Lance was the hothead, ace pilot guy,
right?
And then they just basically they brought in a new leader. They got rid of Sven.
They got rid of Sven entirely.
They got him out of there, and they bumped everybody down, right? So Lance got Sven's lion, Keith got Lance's lion, and then this new guy they brought in, the leader of the team, drove the Black Lion, and then as not only they get demoted lions, they got personalities got swapped.
Yeah,
right.
The new guy essentially got Keith's personality. Keith got Lance's, and Lance just became a comic relief character.
Yeah, he just became a comic relief character alongside Pidge. Yeah. So that was my biggest problem with him. Not with the story, because the animation looks good, the story is good, right? But my biggest problem with it is that these characters that I've grown to love, as a kid, they totally changed. So.
Yeah.
Everything else, other than that, if they hadn't done that, I would have. At first I thought I gave it a chance because I thought, well, they might, promote him back. Something will happen to the leader. Keith will get the Black Lion. But
even that, they wrote themselves out of that possibility because the Lions chose the people who could pilot them.
Yep.
So even if one of them died, then you need to find somebody else who's going to bond with that lion, or change people's personalities.
Right. Now the original series was. The reason I like this, the reboot. What's good about it? Positives. Is the story's really great, right? Mm-hmm. They actually wrote this story. The first one was, believe it or not, when it first came over, it was just the animation, right? And they just dubbed whatever story to that animation, right? They didn't even bother to translate the actual story. Because it was a big, long, confusing story that connected with the other Voltron. Right?
Oh, the car one?
Yeah, and the three robots that turned into one. There was apparently a whole big thing.
Okay.
Right? So there was a big convoluted storyline. They didn't even bother with any of that. They just basically wrote their own stories based on the animation. It suffered from that story time a little bit, by doing that.
Right.
But as a kid, you're like, oh, who cares? They're giant robots, like fighting monsters. That's amazing.
Well, yeah, there was no real unified story in the old one. I mean, there was a background story.
The new one has a much better story. The new one actually has all these things that kind of didn't answer in the first series. They answer in the new series. And I will say this: if you're just starting with the new series, highly recommend Voltron, the new series. If you're
not connected to those characters, and you're going to be pissed off about the changes. Yeah.
Watch the new Voltron series. It's on Netflix. Go ahead and watch it because it's a really good story. The animation is really great. If you're a fan of the '80s cartoon, you might not like the character changes.
I couldn't get past the third or fourth episode, I think. At that point, I was like, man, screw this. I don't. Once they had their lions,
right?
And I was like, he got the blue lion. Lance is my favorite character. That's what my problem is.
Yeah, Lance is my favorite character.
Lance is my favorite character, and he got shafted in this one. And I'm like, man. Then he gets the blue lion too. I'm like, man, I'm done. Forget it.
Yeah,
I'm not interested in this. Changing my childhood.
Yeah.
I'll keep the old one, thanks.
Exactly. So, What was some of your favorite cartoons as a kid? Like Robotech was your favorite, probably.
Robotech was probably hands down my favorite cartoon.
And they're going to do a live action. How do you feel about that?
If they go as long as Michael Bay doesn't do it, I'll probably be fine, because they have the ability to do that. They've shown that they can do the technical things they're going to need to do to have planes that transform into robots, right. And stuff like that. And Robotech was always a very story-based show. Like a lot of it takes place just in the city. The robots. There's always a robot fight, but it's like 5 minutes of the 20 to 25 minute episode. Everything else is character based. So. Yeah. How that will translate into a movie, I don't know. Hopefully they'll be a little balanced in that.
Yeah.
And it's hard to see how they're going to make a movie out of that kind of extended show. It was, I don't know, however many episodes it was that went through that, 24 episodes or something like that. How do you turn it, or do they come up with a new story?
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. So I'm curious to see. I'm hoping that it'll be good, because it was, my all-time favorite.
It's a great story, and I think that was another one of those ones where they kind of wrote the story to the animation for the American version.
Maybe, yeah, I don't know.
And that's where they get the differences between that and Macross and Robotech, right? Macross is the actual original Japanese story, and Robotech is that footage the animation and an American story written for that animation.
Yeah.
Which was great. It turned out much better than the Voltron as far as story-wise.
Yeah, because it is a point A to point Z story.
Yes.
It tells a complete arc 3 times actually. Three different versions, and they all tell a complete story.
So time will tell on that one. Did you see have you watched any of the Japanese live action like Battleship Yamato and any of those?
No.
Okay.
So Spaceship Yamato.
That
was another one that, as a kid, that was one of my favorite shows. And by that I mean second grade.
Yeah.
I tried to revisit that in college with some friends and show it to them, and I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, guys. This was way cooler in second grade than I thought this was." So, some of the stuff doesn't hold up quite as well, but hey,
right. All right. So also. From our childhood, Thundercats. Thundercats now.
They haven't done a live action.
They've been trying to get a live action one done for a while now.
Right.
That material kind of, it's going to be hard to do live action.
Oh, yeah.
Like Cat People.
Right.
But they did reboot another cartoon series on Cartoon Network a few years back. And it was pretty good. It was like the animation was pretty slick.
Right.
They took a cheesy concept like cat people fighting mummies and mutants.
Yes.
Yes.
Which was amazing.
Which was awesome.
When you're
a kid.
When you're a kid, that's amazing.
And they updated a little bit to, now it's like, more slick animated cat people fighting mummy and mutants. But it worked. And they developed a storyline a little bit better, explaining why. Because at first it was like, even as a kid, you're like, well, the spaceship crashed with 5 cat people, only one of them female, and this is gonna be their new home on this planet. And somehow they built this giant castle with a cat and tanks and gliders and all this cool stuff. But
Panther was really awesome at building things.
Yeah. What was that, Shane? What's going on?
There's 2 females.
Oh, there was 2 females. That was like later on. They brought in more.
No, Wile E. Kid.
Oh, Wile E. Kid and Wile E. Cat. But then they brought in like Bengali, like a Bengal tiger dude, and another female. Pumara.
I don't know. Yeah.
I was like towards the end of my cartoon watching career.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But other than that, cartoons like
that's when the Thundercat jumped the shark.
It jumped the shark after they brought in those new characters.
Yeah.
So, but the new cartoon show was pretty good. There was other stuff, the cartoons we didn't really care about, like Smurfs. They redid Smurfs. I don't think I've watched. Did you watch any of those movies?
No, not seen any of the movies.
I watched the Smurfs every once in a while because it was on in between other stuff.
Yeah, it was Saturday morning. You woke up and then watched whatever came on.
Yeah.
Until what you wanted to watch came on.
Exactly.
It's not like when you're a kid like that in our days when we didn't have computer games and like that to just iPhones and iPads to distract us. You started watching cartoons. You watched until your thing came on and was done, and you were all right. Now I'm going to go do something else.
But there are some coming out now. They're in development. We'll see.
Yeah.
I know McGee's doing a He-Man reboot.
Right.
Trying to do it proper this time with all the correct characters, and we'll see how that turns out.
Yeah.
It's McGee, but I will watch it because it's He-Man and it's one of my childhood favorites.
Yeah.
They're talking about rebooting G.I. Joe again.
That's interesting.
Talking about doing like kind of a shared universe thing with the.
With Transformers.
Transformers,
right? With rebooting the Transformers after Bay is done, and having them shared, which they were not exactly shared in the comics. They crossed over.
They crossed over once in a while, but yeah. But so we got that. We're looking forward to the Robotech series movie that's coming out. We'll see how that goes. So I mean, if they haven't done it, they're we could talk about like we watched the Ghostbusters cartoon.
Yeah,
they tried rebooting that. That wasn't very successful with the.
It was okay.
But they're talking about doing a cartoon movie with the original, with Bill Murray and the voices.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, that could be cool.
So I know the Ghostbusters video game that came out like several years back for the Nintendo was amazing. The storyline was amazing, and they all voiced the characters in that. So that's what got people excited for rebooted Ghostbusters movie. So we'll see what happens there. I mean, but all right, let's look forward. Let's talk about what we would like to see them do. I want to throw one out there. Just throwing it out there. Would be Thundar the Barbarian, Hanna-Barbera.
All right, yeah.
Come on now, that show.
Okay.
Wasn't that awesome? You had kind of like a lightsaber, but not really a lightsaber.
Right.
They mixed Conan with laser guns and, post-apocalyptic.
And the moon is shattered.
The moon was shattered. They had pickup trucks being drawn by like lizard beasts and stuff like that. It was amazing, right? Story-wise, it was not so much.
Yeah, it was pretty cheesy. But
if one forgot, Flintstones. Watch Flintstones, right?
Yeah.
They did a Flintstones live action. I mean, it wasn't one of our
No.
We watched it in it was obviously in
it was in reruns by the time we were watching it.
Before our time, but I liked it as a kid. I like Flintstones. I like the movies too. I mean, they weren't.
Yeah, I actually don't. If I've seen them, I don't really remember much about them. So.
Oh man, Scooby-Doo. Yeah, they did Scooby-Doo. Now the Scooby-Doo movie was amazing, and I think James Gunn wrote that.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting. I did not know that. Okay.
The sequel wasn't as good as the first one, but it still wasn't bad. I love the Scooby-Doo movies. My kids liked them because that's what James got into Scooby-Doo, watching that.
Right. Yeah.
Matthew Lillard as Shaggy was inspirational choice. There was got a few of those cartoons. I mean, the Flintstone movies. It was John Goodman was Fred Flintstone.
I do remember that element. That's pretty much all I remember.
I remember Rick Moranis was Barney.
Was he? Okay.
I think they did two of them. They did like an older one and a younger one. I mean, the older one was John Goodman, and then the younger one was what's his name? He did like King Baratheon in Game of Thrones.
Oh,
when he was younger, he did the second one was like a Back in the Past one.
Okay.
And that was a weird one. They added like freaking the little Martian kazoo. And the whole bit. It was a little strange. Right. But the original John Goodman one was good. Other than but that was. It was everything you would expect a Flintstone live action movie to be.
Right. Yeah.
With all the big cheesy plots.
Yeah.
Props and everything.
And I don't even know if Flintstones even is in syndication now. Like any modern audiences would know much about the Flintstones. I don't know if it's something you can watch now or not.
Yeah, I don't know.
I haven't. Maybe on what is that? There's like a whole cable channel that's all devoted to old TV shows. I don't know if that would be on something like that.
Hanna-Barbera stuff.
Yeah.
Didn't they do try to do a Jetsons one? I know they did a Jetsons
live action
cartoon movie, but I don't know if they.
No,
Hanna-Barbera hasn't got the love. What's with their?
Yeah, well, and again, a lot of these are things that we saw in syndication. You know, they were already done.
Yeah.
And we got to see them, like after the fact.
So cartoons our parents watched, and then we got to watch them.
Or they were going on when we were really too young to know what was what, other than it's a cartoon,
Yeah. In between. All right. So what cartoons are? I mean, I throw out Thundar. What do you want to see?
Well, I actually
live action.
Again, this one would be predate us. By at least, it was either 70, it was probably in the 70s, so it doesn't really predate us, but it's, pre when we really could tell what was good and what wasn't. I'm thinking that they may have tried to do this, but a Johnny Quest movie.
Oh, Johnny Quest.
Did they do a Johnny Quest live action?
I know they were.
Or was it just talks of doing it?
No, I think it was just talks. They were talking about doing that. They're talking about doing, was it, I forget, the Bronze Man, what's his name?
Doc Savage.
Doc Savage.
Yeah.
They were talking about doing Doc Savage, and they were talking about doing, they were going to actually use the script they wrote for the Johnny Quest movie that didn't get off the ground for the Doc Savage movie.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And then they ended up not doing either one.
Not doing either one. Yeah.
The closest we got to is Adventure. Or was it Adventure Brothers?
Oh,
cartoon.
I have no idea.
Great. They make fun of Johnny Quest and those a lot. But yeah, it's an amazing cartoon. But yeah, I mean, they didn't get any, they haven't done those. That would be a straight up Johnny Quest. Cool.
It'd be interesting to see how they do that with some things that would be considered pretty racist nowadays, I think.
Probably.
I don't know. It's hard. I think the ones that were really good, the really good cartoons, people have already taken a stab at them.
Right.
The other stuff would be kind of off the wall.
I watch stuff on there that probably wouldn't make good cartoons, like Mask. Remember that one where they're the transforming vehicles?
Yeah.
Of course, that's not, they didn't transform the robots, so no one's going to give a shit about a motorcycle transforming into a helicopter.
Right, yeah. Oh, and then you had what was the vehicle? This one was set in space where they had vehicles that had weird weapons on them. Like one was a car that could drill into the ground. You had a drill and it would drill into the ground. And one had a buzzsaw on an arm and stuff. I don't remember what that movie or what that cartoon was called.
There was a lot of cartoons to sell toys back in the day. There was Visionaries.
Yeah,
the cartoon really had holograms on their chest on the action figures.
A lot of the cartoons came from toys.
Yes,
or the concept of the toy came out at the same time as the concept for the cartoon.
Yeah,
and weren't necessarily great.
Yeah, but there was a lot of cartoons that wouldn't, like I said, just wouldn't make good. There was the Insectoid one. There was the Insectoid guys.
There's all kinds.
We watched a bunch of crap as kids. It was.
I would make an argument that most Black of the Star, cartoons now.
Was it Black Star? Was that the?
Hell,
had the two swords that put them together. Anyway, crystal swords, and they fought like crystal guys. Silverhawks. Silverhawks would be an amazing cartoon, man.
That would be cool. That would be a good.
They were cybernetic bird people. They weren't. See, they took the whole in space. So they went Thundercats. Yeah, cat people on a planet. We're going to take bird people. Well, they were going to make them cyborgs, and then we're going to put them in space. Okay. And the guy's going to play guitar and shoot people with music notes. That was, and while he's wearing a cowboy hat.
Yeah.
There wasn't, okay, I know you guys.
The bird part was just that they had wings for gliding around space.
You young people are not going to believe
bird.
You just heard, young people heard everything I just said there and thought I made it up on the spot. But no, there was a dude in silver Iron Man armor with bird wings, with cowboy hat, and by the way, his spaceship didn't have, it wasn't enclosed. He was just in a car in space, right? And he'd stand up and play his guitar and shoot musical notes at bad guys, and it would hurt him. So that happened. We watched that.
Their bad guy's name was Monstar.
Monstar. Thanks, Shane, off camera. Monstar was the bad guy for Silverhawk. Hollywood. But I'm telling you right now, you know, you're scouring 80s cartoons for movies. Silverhawks. That's where it's at right now.
The best thing, they were, again, let's pile some more on that. They were sheriffs in space.
They were sheriffs in space. That's right. They had badges.
And you press the badge and it activated whatever their power was.
Armor. Yeah, The
best one was Goose. He could change his like physical form, you know, like his molecular form. He could become like solid gold or whatever. And gave him whatever sort of powers.
Hollywood, are you listening?
It was
this. Oh, come on! This script writes itself.
It is too bad that it's probably impossible to find those cartoons anywhere, so that you can't go, we can't point people towards them because it's as dumb as this sounds. They were awesome.
That was an awesome cartoon.
It was a really great cartoon.
Make this movie; it would be better than any Michael Bay Transformers movie. I'm telling you right now.
I'm betting the release date the pilots on YouTube.
Yeah, maybe. Scour YouTube for it. Silverhawks.
We'll try and find it and put it in the link in the description.
Yeah, we can find it. We'll put a link in there for you because
it was great stuff.
Silverhawks. All that shit is just I didn't make that up. That's what was in the cartoon.
Yep.
All right. Outside of Silverhawks being the perfect cartoon movie, other cartoons. I mean, you're looking at these. I mean,
I think that's the problem with this is that a lot of these things that are like, hey, make a live action this cartoon, make a live action, and they don't really work live action because they were these kind of ridiculous concepts that, hey, yeah, you can animate this, but making these into like CGI fests just doesn't have the same impact. It just, I don't know. You know, the Transformers kind of showed that, you know, like, true. In the first movie, I was like, okay, the way they're transforming is not bad. But then when you add up all kinds of new ones, and then you add in the Lego, whatever, liquid metal slash Lego building block transforming, just, oh man, it's horrible.
And bring it all back around to Transformers. Well, I will say this, excuse me, in the latest movie, if you guys watched it, notice that the transforming has apparently gotten better. Now, I don't know whether that's just a better aspect ratio with the, you know, they're getting better with the camera work or whatever. The CGI is getting better, but you can actually see the transforming a lot better because the first movie, you didn't see anything. It's like, the transforming, there's a bunch of stuff, metal moving around, then it was a robot. You're like, okay, wow. If that was a toy, I would be lost. Like, I'd be like, I don't know what to do. But so apparently transforming's gotten better. It looks better, smoother. You can actually tell what's happening during the transforming.
Oh, okay.
But if you don't mind, like I said, if you don't want a story and you just want cool, Michael Bay has always been the visual director, right? His action scenes are amazing, right? If he just come in and do action scenes and stuff.
If totally unrealistic, you know, like how did the humans survive this scene?
I don't want realistic in my action scenes. In my giant robot movies,
well,
I want just cool. I want cool stuff being blown up, right? And robots fighting each other. That's what I want. All and Michael Bay delivers in that. Problem is, I kind of want a story with it too. So, I'm not getting choked up here talking about Michael Bay. But, man, Pain and Gain was so good. What happened, man? Pain and Gain, man. You ever see this? This is his best movie.
Yeah, no idea.
Pain and Gain. Oh, come on.
Oh, right. Pain and Gain. Okay.
Pain and Gain.
I'm all like, Penny Game? What the hell is Penny Game?
They knew what I was talking about. Pain and Gain. They know it. Michael Bay, good movie. That's Pain and Gain. I know what that is.
All right. Yeah, it's not like it's a long list.
Yeah. Exactly. So, all right. So that's it. A short one this week, as there's only so much of our childhood that can get destroyed. Apparently. Yeah. Well, we didn't go into other, some of the other reboots of stuff, live action.
Right. Yeah.
But as far as cartoons go, they got a long way to go. So far, top of the list is G.I. Joe movies, and they weren't, spectacular. Well, first run of
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was probably the best.
Yes.
Those were wonderful camp.
Yes.
That nailed the characters and the feel of the cartoon.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And that's basically it. You got something you got to realize when you're rebooting something, just try and stay as accurate to the source material as possible, right? And obviously have a good story, because all the action in the world, because it's all that together is what it takes. Because we saw with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, they were very true to the source material, but the story sucked. Right, and then Transformers, right? Where they're like, man, they have amazing action, but again, there's no story.
Nothing there,
right? Or then you go stray too far away from the story elements, what makes it too far away from the source material, and then no one cares, right? The people that who you're making this movie for, right? The whole reason you're making basing a movie on IP is because that IP is popular in the first place,
right? Yeah,
right. So you get too far away from it, like why are you even using that IP? Why bother?
Right.
So
make up your own.
Make up your own stuff.
Yeah.
But that's just my 2 cents about the whole thing. If you grew up in the 80s and love these cartoons, if you agree with us, let us know. If you don't agree with us, let us know.
Yeah. What did you think of all of these adaptations? Were they good? Were they not? What do you think? What do you want to see?
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to see redone?
What are you looking forward to?
Yeah.
Are you with me on the Master Universe movie or the Silverhawks? Either way, comment below. Be sure to like and subscribe. I've been Mike.
I'm Doug. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for watching.